Hey yo, back at you with another video. We've got Renaldo Gouws here and the video is titled "The EFF Calls Trump a Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan, the KKK, a racist organized movement from the United States, and their president, their leader is called the Grand Wizard." You understand? That's the land of racism and witchcraft combined over there. That's what will help you understand where racism comes from. I once told you that racism is on the Satanism spectrum. When somebody is a racist and they believe themselves to be superior, they start to now strike the chord that Lucifer struck when he realized that, hey, God has made me a free being and he has made me great and he has made me leader over these others. However, I would like to be like him, and so I will sit on the mountaintop and I'll be like the Most High. That was Satan saying, the Lord is God, He's mighty, He's great, there's nothing above Him, and so he wanted to be like the Most High. He could not even fathom being greater than the Most High, and for that thought he fell. Having fallen to the earth, his spirit of witchcraft, his spirit of magic, evil, and superiority is in the blood and veins of many, black and white. And now, let's see if Renaldo Gouws will be defending the Ku Klux Klan. Lastly, this also kinda seems like a coincidental response to the EFF, of course, and Dan Corder, who introduced the KKK movement and the conversation about the KKK in South Africa with his video some time back regarding Willem Petzer.
Real about what we were looking at. We were looking at white supremacist ideology wrapped up in a twisted interpretation of Christianity. That's what it was, just like the KKK.
You see that? You see that? That's the KKK.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Renaldo here. So this video is going to focus on the EFF calling Donald Trump a grand wizard in the Ku Klux Klan.
Yes.
Yes. It seems that South Africa still has not understood what FAFO means. Like, literally. So, after Ibrahim Rasool has now been kicked out of the United States as the ambassador to the United States.
Y'all remember when I was telling you about the FAFOs, the militant white people with the threats? I think we are watching Ronaldo's villain arc go up, ladies and gentlemen. We are watching it go up. He's about to crescendo. I think we are witnessing a Nick Fuentes here. I think we are witnessing somebody who's going to be a Trump defender at all costs. You know, who's going to say whatever you say about Trump, you're screwing around and your insults are going to get to him and he's going to punish this country. You see, we are looking at some unpatriotic lunacy over here. But let's get into the video. Let's get into it.
For South Africa for making insane statements about the US and also because of Donald Trump and making
screw the US and Donald Trump, man. Send them this video.
Making statements calling him a supremacist and saying that the United States is moving towards a supremacist like movement. He was asked, well, not asked, he was told to leave. He's now a persona non grata. And he probably has, I think, 24 hours left to leave the country of the United States. But of course, the EFF will not let themselves be outdone by the ANC. So they have now come out and they have literally called Donald Trump a grand wizard for the Ku Klux Klan.
And Ronaldo, you have to understand, it's not going to stop. You believe that you will have the top arrogance, that you will rise. And I mean, you've got no rising to do, really. You're just a guy. You're just a YouTuber bringing us the events as they arrive. Donald Trump is deciding all of these things. You understand? Whatever escalation he does, there'll be escalation on this side. It will just keep on going. I think this is one thing that I mentioned at the very first video. I think it was 32 days ago now. I've been dropping videos for 32 days. And on the first video where I came in, the video was titled White People versus Black People, with Trump on one side and Elon Musk, and you've got now Julius Malema and Ramaphosa on one side. I spoke about there being tensions and escalations as time goes because nobody's going to back down. Everybody's free. Everybody can say whatever they want. If you are going to say people should fuck around and find out, they will fuck around and find out. You see, if you're saying you're poking the bear, they will poke the bear, Renaldo. Get ready for some seriously charged, intense, formidable opposition, my brother. The EFF is going to be insulting Donald Trump from here until the very end of the election. It's happening even in his own country, bruh. You're just out here trying to give us this impression of Trump being an emperor. And wow, man, that's what really disappoints me about you. Do you know Kyle Kulinski? Do you know Circular Talk? Do you know Brian Tyler Cohen? Do you know Hassan Abi? Do you know all of these people who are insulting Trump? I shared with you Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes says, man, he's done with Donald Trump and you are still here serving us, the black government, threats saying fuck around and find out. Here's Nick Fuentes.
Like 10 years ago, he was more normal. 10 years ago, there was like a little more, I don't know, like discretion, or I don't even know what you would call that, just like tact. 10 years ago, he was serious, he was intense, and he was a little bit funny sometimes. Now he's just always doing this weird, jokey voice, doing these weird, like, billions and billions. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. I can't stand it anymore.
Okay, now that you heard Nick Fuentes, let's continue listening to your tribe, my brother.
Let's have a listen.
Breaking news this hour, Ibrahim Rasool, South Africa's ambassador to Washington, may return home in the next 72 hours. Now, that's according to International Relations Minister Ronald Lamola. At the same time, reaction continues to stream in following the ambassador's expulsion. The EFF has labeled US President Donald Trump as the grand wizard of a global Ku Klux Klan. EFF member Chumani Matuane joins us now for more. A very good afternoon to you, MP Chumani. Thank you very much for your time today. I'll get back to that comment that the EFF made about Trump being, a Ku Klux Klan member. I'll get back to that. I want to start here. What do you make of the manner in which this expulsion actually occurred and the expulsion itself? Welcome.
So this is a member of parliament, by the way.
Well, thank you, Chami.
Take note of the fact that this is an EFF member of parliament. So consider that whatever comes out of his mouth is pretty much funded by taxpayers of South Africa. Whether you agree with it or not, your tax money is going towards this person's salary. And tell me if he's worthy of that salary.
Greetings to you and your viewers at home.
That's so lame, dude. That's so lame.
It is appalling that the world has to be subjected.
Appalling. Apparently, you can't correct somebody for making pronunciation mistake.
We are Papa Renaldo.
Because then you are a racist. I was labeled a racist because Julius Malema couldn't say Elon Musk. He said Elon Musk.
We are Papa Mfano.
Apparently that's racist. Even though it's a name and a surname, if you can't pronounce the richest man in the world's name and surname correctly, you are a racist.
If you say Renaldo Gouws.
Hey, but then again, Trump is a grand wizard for the Ku Klux Klan, so let's listen.
To this kind of hillbilly diplomacy of the Trump regime.
Hillbilly diplomacy.
Really, we are being subjected to this fascist regime of Trump.
Fastest or fascist.
Which has no respect for existing diplomatic channels, which should be pursued whenever there is a challenge with a deployee or an ambassador.
Please tell me what possible talks could there be when the ambassador calls the president of the nation that they are the guest of, the United States, when they call them a supremacist.
Yeah, man, that was a Muslim man blowing himself up, rising into victory. He wants this country split from the United States. We don't know what the split is going to look like as we head towards Brics, as Trump is putting up travel bans to the United States. Some are realizing that this is the last opportunity to say, screw you to the United States. Thank you for all your free money. We've had enough of you and your white little supremacists in South Africa. So we hope to see you gone. We hope to see the Trump administration finished. We cannot behave like we are now servants to a king who will reign forever. So, I shared with you Nick Fuentes. You all know Trump is crazy, right? You all know Renaldo is full of air, right? You all know he's just filling his pockets with stones, right? You all know Trump is getting ripped apart and there's probably going to be protests. I think I'll quote myself on this. There'll be protests in the next few weeks in the United States.
And the people that support him, supremacists, what possible negotiation can there be? Because an ambassador is supposed to, apply diplomacy. There's no diplomacy when you call the president of the host nation that you are there for supremacist.
He don't want to negotiate.
It is not surprising that this continued onslaught on South Africa is now escalated to the level where they are expelling our ambassador. It is a provocation and bullying tactics by the US, which wants to weaken our stand in international relations in South Africa.
But that is not caused by anybody but South Africa. I mean, South Africa is the one that decides to implement 142 race-based laws. South Africa is the one that allows for the singing of kill the boer, kill the farmer to consistently be accepted.
And the EFF is going to intensify the things that they do because you're clearly provoked by it and they know that you are now stuck in this country and it's 142. You say 142 or 144? You're stuck with them and you're just going to see Ramaphosa stiffen his neck, change absolutely none of them. You're going to see Trump huff and puff and blow the house down if he manages to. And you'll still be where you are YouTubing, or you will immigrate if you do. And we will see South Africans start to fill the vacuum. Because I'm telling you, my brother, I understand competition. I understand the white people, the Zuidlanders. Look at those people there. Those people are ready to fight for this country. When I used to view your tweets and the tweets of the Gavin Van Olsen and the Willem Petzers all the way back then, there was this thing, this chart of Africa that was showing the migration of black people from Central Africa towards the south. And it shows black people arriving after the whites. So there's claims out there that say Groenewald was in Southern Africa on these lands before Shaka Zulu. So with that claim, I'm not here to try to debunk that or whatever. It's been properly dealt with. The black person has always been here. You all got here afterwards. Listen to what I'm saying. With that understanding in your mind, with that departing from that false premise that these lands are yours and you were here before the black person, I understand why the Zuidlanders are getting armed. They are training in the bush. It's because you're like getting ready to fight to stay in this country. That's why I say white people are going to be here until the end of days. You see, the economy here is the best for them. South Africa is a discount first world country, especially Cape Town there. You all would rather have a Cape independence than leave this South Africa. So we understand that you are going to stay here and the EFF is going to make sure to provoke your president and you until you really boil as you do these YouTube videos. You're going to change, Renaldo. I'm going to quote myself on this video saying that you are changing. You are going to become clear and apparent. You're going to become the shining symbol of the right-wing media and you're going to lead the aggression. You see, you're going to be the teeth of the resistance, the head boy, and everybody will come to see you as you try to scare and fearmonger and to us. There'll be members of the EFF, members of the public. There'll be me, for example, who are just watching you, who will be watching Trump face violent protests in his own country. And we're going to be calling your BS from here to the very end. And you're going to have to become mad, extreme, erratic, out of character, and you'll be a clear symbol of what the FAFOs represent. And I hope you go and you get a tattoo on your face that says FAFO, and your followers follow you, and you'll go and become extremists.
Be okay, and no condemnation of that song being sung. And then the ambassador himself is the one that made those statements. Nobody forced the ambassador to make those statements. It wasn't the United States. The United States didn't ask South Africa to sing "Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer." The United States aren't the ones that are allowing 142 race-based laws to exist in South Africa, and neither is it forcing the ambassador to make these statements. This is South Africa deciding to do these things.
Because this is a backlash for the stance that South Africa has taken and undermining the sovereignty of South Africa to make its own policies and to have its own sovereign international stance when it comes to matters affecting the globe.
That doesn't even make sense. It honestly doesn't make sense. But okay, I'm not going to argue about something that doesn't make sense.
In your release, you speak about Donald Trump and you say that he is a grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. And you are saying that his tendencies, the right-wing tendencies, are finding their way and manifesting themselves here in South Africa. Tell us about that.
Yes, what we are seeing in the globe, it is a global phenomenon that we are currently going through of right-wing populists who have come into power, like Mr. Donald Trump.
How about this? How about maybe for the first time in our democracy, the international community is finally speaking out against injustices that's happening in this country, or things that are just blatantly ignored because previously it was not acceptable to speak about it, because everybody around the world thought that, hey, after 1994, everybody skipped and jumped and hopped into the sunset, when in actual fact, no. Since we became a democracy, we've now reached the point in 2025 where we have 142 race-based laws, where for the last 15 years,
Hey, Renaldo Gouws is a talented propagandist. He's a robot. He's a machine. He's an agent. 142 race-based laws. 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 See, I failed. Y'all remember Mr. Beast when he was young? He did a challenge where he said a certain word. Was it 10,000 times? Yeah, that's when Jimmy was demonstrating himself to be a really serious nut. And I think we are witnessing the same here. Is Renaldo ADHD, autistic?
Songs have been sung about killing people based on the color of their skin, and a lot of the younger generation of white colored and Indian people have been discriminated against purely because they were born into a skin color. So perhaps the fact that you think that there's this rise of this right-wing insanity is maybe just because finally decent people around the world are speaking out because they are finally seeing what is truly happening in South Africa. Because you are part of a political party that for the last 15 years at every single rally have been singing songs about killing people based on the color of their skin. And then that leads me to the next point. Who do you think you are that you can tell other people that they are morally inferior to you, when you are the ones that morally think it's acceptable to sing songs about killing people and to promote race-based laws in this country?
You see, he's kind of got a point there. When we're now speaking about morality, we're talking about God's territory. God prescribing how we ought to associate, how we should deal with each other, how we should forgive each other, how we should treat each other, how we should be kind to one another. I spoke about this, extremists rising in response to other extremists. The EFF would say it has risen because of the existing threat of the right-wingers who never left this country. And they'll say there's been a need for this black military militant opposition to those to balance the scales. The Mqitamas would say, we're also here because of you. And then when they start to speak against those right-wingers, that singing and that speaking then brings rise to a new fascist movement. I think Renaldo is admitting that the FAFOs are rising, and he's actually dog whistling to them to say, yo, you've been for a long time under siege of these songs from the comfort of your home in Waterkloof. It's been nice, but these songs have been coming in via your TV. You've been hearing about it from the news that the song has been sang again at an EFF rally. So now it's time for you to go grab a knife. It's time for you to go learn how to shoot at a range. It's time for you to go lay over Zeelander training right now. It's time for you now to go and do push-ups in the field, to go and roll in the mud through obstacle courses, get armed, because these are the songs that have been sang, and we've got Donald Trump in power now, and yeah, Colonel Chris White is also here, and he's saying FAFO, we are the MAGA of South Africa. Renaldo is admitting and he's inviting. Are y'all listening to him? He's changing since the beginning of the video to this one. From the Dan Corder video, where he said Dan Corder is a little dick, from defending Elon Musk, he's going down. Are you listening? And he's telling an army of white boys, educated, grow up nice, decent, non-violent, to just get charged up. Are you really going to survive in South Africa? Renaldo, if this gun-carrying mindset that white people are accustomed to in the United States, this I'm armed, I'm ready to just shoot whatever comes at me, if that mindset is what you're trying to bring to South Africa, in the most hostile country with, I think, the highest crime rate, bro, you are fueling a problem. And I hope the people who are listening to you recognize what you are becoming, or who you've always been. Maybe I'm starting to see it. Yo, white kids, do not stay your decent lives. Stay easy. Life is nice for you. You do not want to rise against the black people who are a majority in their country. You are going to make a situation worse for your children. You still want to live in this country. You don't want hostility for yourself. You don't want it for your children. Leaving the country, uprooting all of your kids and putting them in an American school where they now start to have to pledge allegiance to the United States flag and whatever every morning. You don't want to see yourself doing that. So you don't want to cause hostilities over here. You don't want to join this extremist, this neo-fascist that Zwelinzima spoke about. It's going down, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it's not the other individuals that are actually right-wing, insane people. You are just insanely left that you think it is acceptable and that anything to the right of you is extremist.
All of you are insane, Renaldo. All of you are insane. That's why I left the EFF. You understand? That's why I left the EFF. But remember, also being a man, also being somebody who's not going to be pushed over, I still associate with the man spirit of the EFF. The EFF speaks like men in the face of provocation, you see. In the face of a man, another man who's standing up, trying to put his chest in the faces of the black people, the EFF constantly manages to rise up. So it's a manosphere, it's a manly thing that I'm still attracted to. However, the singing of the song is something that I never could bear myself. But you have to understand, you are raising crazies. You are calling crazies to rise. And yes, you're responding to crazies. But that's not going to help you. That is the end of your plans. If violence, if an uprising does not happen, you remember how the EFF also had a flop national shutdown. And they said it was a success. The airport announced that there will be traffic that is not allowed to come into the airport because of a shutdown, etc., etc. But it was not really a thing. It was not really felt. It didn't slap. It didn't hit. If you try to halakazam, raise fire, come on white boys, let's go, and then they don't rise, you're going to flop like a cake. You're going to become a bitch ass nigga on these YouTube streets. We're going to see you constantly try to pump yourself up, and man, it's just gonna look ridiculous. So you better succeed very well, or don't even try, because the possibilities of success are incredibly low. We're gonna constantly be here telling your white boys there to back down. The Indians and colors that you're also trying to raise to be a part of you there. I can see you're trying to create a coalition, a majority nyana. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Colors, back down, yo. We are both poor under the oppression of the system of apartheid. We're still poor under the pushback of any reform or change to our constitution that will make this government one that has teeth that can bite. You know, the government currently has a dull knife to cut with, and they're trying to sharpen it so that things can happen. But there's constant resistance, there's constant activism and protest from these type of guys over here. So you and I, coloreds, you and I, Waras, are both in this situation together. And so don't let Renaldo try to raise you against me, causing us some black on black violence. You would know that Katlego was already doing the same, trying to divide blacks, you know, along the clever blacks and the stupid blacks. So we're not going to take this. Coloreds and blacks reject Renaldo. And your Indians, y'all know, man, not to be joining this, right? Get out.
Donald Trump, he refers to African countries in a very disparaging manner. I cannot even repeat the name.
What was it? You can't repeat the name because it wasn't said. That is pretty much what is happening here. Like, you now making up stories and you're trying to say, oh, did you hear what did he say? Because if he said it, it would be world news. So you're making up bullshit now.
Of what he calls African nations. So he has no regard for third world or developing countries. He believes that as a white supremacist, he believes in white and is pushing the US's imperialist agenda of wanting to extract natural resources from the third world. So basically what we are is a scramble for Africa's natural resources as the global, as the US economic hegemony.
Ladies and gentlemen, just take note that your tax money is going towards this individual. Like, has he made sense throughout this entire interview? I mean, what is he actually trying to say right now?
Hegemony is waning due to the Brics nations that have come and united to who are also pursuing a de-dollarization in trade. So this is a purely economic wars that the US is pursuing, and South Africa happens to be the scapegoat, and it is driven by this, underpinned by supremacist, white supremacist ideas. So when we are saying that we reiterate the statement that was made by Mr. Ibrahim Rasool to say that Mr. Trump is a grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan.
Your tax money. Yeah, your tax money.
So your tax money can really make the EFF keep quiet? Like, are you for real? Renaldo, are you for real? Are you making white people so entitled to people's mouths? Like, what, black people's mouths are being moved by the white person's taxes? What about the black person's income taxes? What say you that maybe the taxes of the black people, the income taxes, the many black people who are working in white people's companies and factories, let's say their taxes are funding that and your taxes are funding Groenewald and what he gets to say? Isn't it fair game? Isn't that just a democracy? Isn't that freedom of speech? Isn't he speaking because he's got free speech? Isn't he a politician? Can't he talk about the politics on the ground? You have to now run out of a response about what he has to say, so much so that you go to your audience and you say, you see, you are paying these blacks to talk these things. Are you calling for also a tax revolt? Are you up in this game, bro? Am I really seeing you the way that I'm seeing you? I think you're calling for a tax revolt. I think you're calling for people to rise, the FAFOs. You're calling them to rise. Let's keep listening to you.
Your tax money and my tax money, but your tax money is going to pay for this person's salary to say what he's saying. So also, just hilarious that, I was removed out of parliament, I wouldn't be able, to manage in parliament. But hey, this individual can call Trump and his administration the grand wizard of a global Ku Klux Klan.
And what are you gonna do? Shoot another video?
That's where your tax money is going, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say that I'm very happy that the spotlight is finally on South Africa, so that we in this country don't just are the only ones that see this bullshit. You know, now everybody around the world can see what we as South Africans from all races, cultures, and creed has to experience on a daily basis, where the fourth biggest political party in this country with over 1 million voters actually says that Donald Trump, the president of the United States, is a grand wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah. So if you are an international viewer, welcome. This is our everyday lived experience in this country. If you so much as just speak out against race-based laws, speak out against somebody singing a song about killing you because of the color of your skin, then you are labeled a white supremacist. You are labeled a right-wing nutter. You are labeled a racist. And the mainstream media plays along. As you can see here, not once did this journalist question what was being said and said, but why do you say that? Can you back it up with any facts? No.
It's an insult, my dude. It's a poke in his eye. We want him to accelerate his aggression. We know that he's got some stored. He's got potential energy. He's a battery. He's fully charged and ready to slap Africans around. And we are ready to pull his pants down while he tries to do that and laugh at his privates.
It's just accepted. Because it's become so accepted in this country that you can say whatever you want about a minority group and it is accepted. There's no pushback. The South African Human Rights Commission does not really take any steps. The government definitely does not say anything or condemn these things being said. The GNU has not condemned the EFF by saying what they just said. So there's no condemnation. But if you are a minority group and you speak out against the government or speak out against any of these things that are being said, then you are a white supremacist, a racist, or a grand wizard for the Ku Klux Klan. That is South Africa in a nutshell in 2025. And I'm just so grateful for everybody around the world that is sharing this content and exposing the South African government and South African political parties for saying this absolutely insane stuff. Believe it or not, this is normal in South Africa. This is the norm. And millions of people vote for individuals like this because of the things that they say. And it is absurd. So, yeah, welcome to our lived experience, at least for the last 20 years. I mean, there was a time in South Africa between 1994.
Yeah, welcome to South Africa, the land of free speech, where a bitch-ass nigger president can be called a bitch-ass nigger president. You guys here are allowed to call Ramaphosa incompetent and stupid, and the Nick Fuentes are able to tell Donald Trump to shut up. So, welcome international audience to South Africa, where we operate exactly how the world operates, and we call a spade a spade.
94 and 2006 and 2007, where everybody was hopeful and we're like, wow, the economy is growing, more people are getting jobs, things are looking like it's going to work out. And then once Jacob Zuma became the president of South Africa, things went backwards very quickly. And for the last 20 years, this has been our lived experience pretty much. So welcome to South Africa in 2025. And that's pretty much all I got to say. If you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. You can do that by clicking the subscribe button below. Also,
and we are out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been Renaldo Gouws for you. It's another video. He does not want the Grand Ku Klux Klan wizard, President of the United States, to be called the KKK witch wizard, who is looking like the Antichrist. If you're Christian, fun and games aside, right? Look out for presidents who seem possessed. Look out for men who look like they are fulfilling prophecy. They are acting in ways that seem to be trying to dominate. They seem to be even satanic in a way. Look out for them. Just look out. I'll see you next time. Hope you like, share, comment, and subscribe.